All the kids out there, I want you to listen very closely. I would hope that your parents have taught you to always be honest, but since kids have a tendency to not listen to their parents, I want you to listen to Uncle KC. Pay very close attention because this is important. If you ever feel the urge to lie, if you ever think for 1 second that it's better to lie than tell the truth, I want you to remember the past 2 or 3 months and what's happened to Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks. This is what happens when you lie. This is what happens when you refuse to be honest with your fan base, the people responsible for paying your bills. All Nico Harrison and ownership in Dallas, all they had to do was be honest. From day one, all they had to say was, we didn't want to pay Luka Doncic almost $400 million. Make no mistake about it, this was an ownership decision. This was not all on Nico Harrison. But that's it. That's all they had to do. Would there have been outrage? Absolutely. Would people cancel season tickets? Would people burn their Mavs jersey? Sure. But as time passed, as emotions settled, at least they could respect the fact that you were honest with them. That doesn't mean fans would agree, but at least they would respect your honesty. Even with that small level of respect, you have some type of foundation to rebuild on eventually. Instead, Nico Harrison has spent the last 2 months trying to cover his lies, which is exactly what happened yesterday when Nico Harrison invited a small group of local media in Dallas to a press conference where they were not allowed to record his comments because Nico Harrison was once again lying. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. The biggest thing coming out of this press conference was the fact that Nico Harrison claimed that he does not regret anything about trading Luka Doncic. There's nothing you regret about trading Luka. Nothing. How about the fact that you got nothing in return? Well, that's blasphemy. They got Anthony Davis. He is a huge star. No, Tony D has always been a secondary star. He has never been the star. I watched Tony for 7 years in New Orleans. I remember the 2018 season. Boogie Cousins and Rondo, they were begging Anthony Davis. They were begging him to step up and be the leader of the team. Tony couldn't do it. Now, that is not a knock against Anthony Davis. It's just who he is. But you mean to tell me that Nico Harrison doesn't regret the billions of dollars the Dallas Mavericks have lost and will continue to lose? You mean to tell me there's not one thing that Nico Harrison regrets? He doesn't regret lying. He doesn't regret talking shit about Luka for weeks after the trade was completed. He doesn't regret kicking fans out of the arena for having the audacity to express their outrage. From the very beginning, this entire situation has been mishandled. For years, I have thought the Pelicans were the worst run franchise in the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks, they have taken incompetence to another level. This might be the worst franchise in sports. When Kyrie Irving tore his ACL, you would think that would generate a little bit of sympathy for the franchise. At minimum, you would think it would buy the Mavs a little bit of time, but fans were smart enough to see through the bullshit. Fans were smart enough to know that Kyrie Irving wouldn't be playing 40 minutes every night and risk tearing his ACL if Luka was still in Dallas. People felt bad for Kyrie, but there was absolutely no sympathy given to management, and rightfully so. Later tonight, the Mavs season will likely end in Sacramento. They are relying on Anthony Davis to carry them in the biggest game of the season. And if there's one thing I know about Anthony Davis, he has a tendency to shrink in big games, especially when he's expected to be the star. Once the season ends, fans will continue their crusade. They will continue demanding that Nico Harrison be fired, which isn't going to happen. And even if it did, it doesn't solve the real problem. This is not a Nico Harrison problem. This is an ownership problem. The Mavs have the same problem the Pelicans have: incompetent ownership. Unfortunately, there is no solution to that problem. The only thing you can do is not support the team, which should be easy since the Mavs will be losing a lot of games for the foreseeable future. They have no first-round picks. Kyrie Irving, he is likely out until this time next year. And the one trade piece that you have, Anthony Davis, the one piece that you can turn into draft picks, he's unlikely to be traded because ownership is on a mission to prove that they're right and you're wrong. Give me your thoughts on this. Have you ever seen the destruction of a franchise happen this quickly? Not even the destruction, the self-destruction. At this point, is there anything the Mavs could do to save this franchise? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the main channel.